Old school friends, vampiric loved ones, and weeping angels. There's connections here, if you couldn't tell from the name of this box set. Hello and welcome back to a Madman Big Finish review, a series where I review some of the latest Big Finish releases. For this video, I will be reviewing the 8 Doctor Adventures Connections. So as usual, I'm going to go in spoiler free as possible with our first story, Here Lies Drax by John Dorney. The Doctor, Liv and Helen are surprised to get a letter delivered to the TARDIS from the Doctor's old school friend Drax. They're even more surprised when it's followed by a parcel also sent by the Intergalactic Conman, asking them to keep its contents safe. Contents that seem to be a lot of worthless junk. And the surprise gets even bigger when the parcel itself is followed by an invitation to Drax's funeral. And that's just where the surprises start. Now, I'm not familiar with the character of Drax. They were in the Armageddon Factor, if I remember from looking up. They're a fellow Time Lord. And from what I hear, they really like to interact with their past and future selves, you know. Not that you should, as Time Lords really frown upon that, but regardless of that, even though I'm not overly familiar with the character, the story still at least acts like you're going into the story not knowing who Drax is, and it gives you a little slight summary of who Drax is, what kind of person they are. So I would say props to that, because I think I will, if that wasn't done, I probably would have just completely lost it with who Drax was. But the story itself, I found really interesting. It was a kind of fun story to start off with this box set, because it gets kind of sadder in quotation marks with the next 2 stories. But no, yeah, I really had a good time with the story. I really enjoyed it. It was structured well. The twists, the surprises, getting the brief summary of who Drax is, they were kind of easy to tell a bit, but I still liked the story regardless. I think it was fun. Moving on to our next story, The Love Vampires by James Kettle. Regret can follow people everywhere, even out into deep space, in the shadow of a dying star. When the Doctor, Liv and Helen meet the terrified crew of a space station, all are haunted by faces from the past, but these lost loved ones are more than mere memories, and they want to feed. I thought this story was fine. It was a fine story. It's not as strong as the first one. It's not as strong as the last one, but it was okay. I didn't particularly have any problems with it. I think it was just kind of a simple story. There's nothing more I can say about it. There's nothing I can fault it. Structured well. The characters were good in this story. It was a fine story. I like the premise of it, but it was okay. But moving on to our finale, our last story, Albie's Angels by Roy Gill. When the Doctor and friends hunt down time anomalies in 2020's Soho, Helen steps into the past and meets the brother she thought she'd lost forever. But there are weeping angels in London, and one of the stone assassins wants something from the Doctor and Liv. Now, this was probably my favorite story of this box set. Save the best for last, as they say. But no, I think this is a fantastic story, and it's a great story for Helen, because her brother Albie has been mentioned in a previous box set. It might have been Stranded, one of the Stranded box sets. I don't know, but she does mention Albie and what happens to him, because this story explores leading up to Albie's imprisonment and his disappearance because of who he is, because of his sexuality, because during that time wasn't really accepted, unfortunately. But this explores that there was a bit more to it, and also gives Helen time to be with a brother she lost. So I think this is it was fantastic. Everything about it, really good. The Weeping Angels are not particularly the villains of this story. There is a different villain in this story. They're used as a means by the villain, and also as a means for Helen to be reunited with Albie. They're kind of secondary to this plot. They're just they are there to push the plot along so that certain things can happen. But even then, I think they're at least used effectively. And there's a little something different that's been added to these Weeping Angels, which it's nice, even though I'm kind of the person that just preferred this, just the simple how angels were introduced. Just don't look at them. Don't look away from them. Keep looking at them. If you look away, they'll kill you because they move when quantum lock and all that. But with the two Weeping Angels in this story, there's something very interesting about them, which I found fascinating. But the story overall, I really enjoyed. It was amazing. A kind of almost heartbreaking story with Helen and Albie. I really love this story. It's a great end to this box set. But that is all to rate this box set. I would give it a 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this box set. Here Lies Drac, fun story. The Love Vampires, it was okay, but Albie's Angels, fantastic. Probably the highlight of this box set. Definitely check it out for that story in particular. It's amazing. But yeah, that's all for this review. Thank you everyone for watching. Check out my previous reviews. Check out the videos my co-hosts have done. And remember to tune into the live streams. And I will see you all in the next one. Ciao.